Everyone relax. This is TOFOP. I'm Charlie Clausen.
I'm Will Anderson. Hello and thank you for watching.
And you didn't do the...
I was going to, but then you just jumped into it.
Sorry. As we've discussed,
It's fine.
in the
We
past,
don't really
it's
in
more
person,
down the line.
It was only because we were just back in person the other time. I was just doing it for fun.
Yeah, you
I
scared
didn't.
me.
You know, I did scare you, and I don't want this to be scary for you, Charlie. I want you.
Patronising and condescending, no problem. Scary, no.
Yeah, I don't want you to
Please.
be scared.
I don't like you doing baby. It doesn't come naturally to you, baby
Poor
talk.
Charlie, don't be
Charlie,
scared.
for a
Poor
start.
Charlie. Poor Charlie. Are you scared?
What? I don't know if it's baby talk or if it's head injury. What is it? Scared? Scared? Square? No, what do you say? Scary. Yeah, I see what you got. You scary. You got confused. Scared. You pronounce the R in scared. Scared? Are you scared? Sorry, this is episode 3 in bulk record. So,
I drove a whole day yesterday as well.
What did you drive from Melbourne?
Melbourne to Sydney.
I haven't done that drive in years.
It's not much to it.
Is it changed at all? Is it
800 kilometres of it are
just flat?
one road.
Hume.
Like there's literally a point where you get out of Melbourne where the map thing says
Stay here, you'll be fine.
for 800 kilometres.
That's Australia though, right? Doesn't Australia have the longest stretch of unbroken road through the middle or something?
I know, it's funny though because I think that, so I've been doing a bit of long driving over the last few years, but a lot of it had been from, I drove Brisbane to Sydney, I'd been doing a lot of Northern Rivers to Sydney, obviously. But even at Christmas, I went Sydney down to the family farm, but it's through the mountains and along the coast a bit. And it isn't all just one road, but yes, from Sydney to Melbourne, basically.
Straight and flat.
And to go off anywhere, like you have to leave.
Yeah.
Like most of the tourist attractions even that used to be on the main strip are now
So what are there? There used to be Glenrowan, but
Yeah.
the highway killed that. Poor
Well,
old.
yeah, but they're still there.
They're still there.
Yes.
Where's the submarine? That's
Yes, Holbrook.
Holbrook.
So I went to there. There's
Dog on
2
the Tucker box.
submarines. Went to the Dog on the Tucker box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it all. There's an Oliver's at the Dog on the Tucker
Oh,
box.
brilliant.
Stopped at
Get
the
some of
Oliver's.
those beans instead of chips. Who you think you're kidding, Oliver's?
Man,
No one wants to eat
It's
a
called
packet of
Oliver's
beans.
because no one's ever said, "Please, sir, can I have some more?" So, the beans as chips. That to me is. I was thinking about this yesterday when I was at Oliver's because I try
So if anyone doesn't know, Oliver's
Yes.
is a healthy
healthy fast food. It's your healthy highway food. So
We're on a road trip.
if you
don't
don't
wanna
want your
get
McDonald's
Macca's.
or your Hungry Jack's, your KFC, your standards,
Yeah.
maybe sometimes these days you'll get a Guzman or a Porto or like something like that, some sort of fancy chicken chain. But mostly you're talking about your classics still.
Your big three.
Your big ones. And so I think that, Oliver's at least are trying to do something a bit healthier. Like I'll have a yogurt or something like that'll be quite nice for the road. They'll have a few snacks.
Keep cup while you buy keep cup while you're there and save the environment.
I'm not doing that. Their coffee makes you think they hate coffee.
Oh, really?
Like I do not enjoy their coffee. I do get one mostly because I'm stopping here for the other stuff anyway. I'll get coffee here, but I don't think I've ever really truly enjoyed an Oliver's coffee. I think that it's that idea of, am I getting enough nutritional value that it's a decent trade-off for the lack of
For
taste
pleasure.
and flavor and pleasure? Because there's something also about the road trip that you do want.
It's fun.
A long trip, I need to break it up a little bit with treats.
Yeah.
I've got to get myself something along the way. I don't want to be eating crap the entire way, but I do want some sort of inbuilt, if you drive another 2 hours, you get yourself a little treat or a little reward.
Yeah.
So Oliver's, I guess, it's the in-between. You can still get something. You can get a bag of chips, but they're going to be
Beetroot.
25%. Yeah, they're going to be
Beetroot
beetroot chips. I got some caramel popcorn
Yeah.
last night as a bit of a snack, and it was 25% less sugar, and I was like, yeah, you really need that 25% sugar.
To make it good. I feel like with Oliver's,
Yeah.
you're right. It's the road trip mentality says to me, and I'm counting just and if it's over an hour, that counts to me as that's snack worthy. You
Yeah.
can get a snack if you're driving for over an
Yeah,
hour.
I agree.
And so I'm always but this is, it's more common for you, but it's a rarer occurrence for me nowadays. So I'm going to have some fun with it. I eat healthy at home.
Yeah.
why just give me the bad stuff. I'll eat the bad stuff. That'll make me feel better. Or you go in. What I like to do is, do you have an offset? So you get
like carbon
good?
offsets.
Yeah, but with a
little bit of
you
this,
go to
little bit of
servo,
that.
you get some barbecue shakes, but you'll also get a thing of carrots and celery, and you're like, no, clearly there's no offset going on.
I think Oliver's is my offset.
Okay.
So over the day, there's going to be a couple of like non-Oliver's style treats. So my baseline is Oliver's. Like I can get myself like a vanilla bean yogurt and pretend that that's a healthy option when like it's probably not actually that much healthier.
Is it? I was going to say, is it?
No, probably
okay.
not. But it's like an Oliver's, so you can convince yourself that is. And so then I'll feel okay later when I have a caramel slice or something from some bakery on the road.
I gave Iona natural yogurt for the first time.
How'd that go?
Not a fan.
Not a fan?
This is not yogurt. And I'm
don't know what you're talking about.
That's yogurt.
Yeah, this is actual yogurt.
This is yogurt without the 50 teaspoons of sugar that you normally get.
She said, well, that's no good.
Get me the honey, Dad.
Turns out I don't like yogurt. I like sugar.
It's true.
And really yogurt is just a way to get sugar in me. So
I've got some good news, Will. For the, I've been cleared of degenerative kidney damage, kidney disease.
Oh, well, that is
I
good
finally,
news.
After a battery of tests, we spoke a few months ago, or not a few months ago, a few weeks ago, about my having to do my fecal samples.
Yeah.
Turns out that all that was not enough, that I had to go see a specialist. So I took it, I was getting my fecal done, I was getting my urine sample, and still not enough, still inconclusive. So I had to go see a specialist at Lismore Hospital. And we have a lot of medical professionals who listen to this show. And we're so grateful when you write in, and I love hearing like a peek behind the curtain and, but there is something to be said about like bedside manner. I don't need you to be like polite, but just be like, I want my doctor to be super professional. Like, I don't want them to use colloquialisms. I don't want them to try and sort of be my friend. I want some sense of authority when I'm talking to a doctor.
Interesting.
So my specialist, he was maybe like 10 years older than me, but he had the energy of a cool guy, like a cool guy, like, sort of open neck shirt. And I think he even had like golf clubs in his office. Like, there's a few things going on that was like, hey,
the two absolutely traditional sides of a cool guy.
No.
An open neck shirt and some golf clubs.
My point being, it wasn't like a sterile kind of like hospital environment. It was like, hey, this is my office.
But like, it is a bit of a cliche that doctors like golf. So it's not like completely off brand that
No, but yeah, I guess there was more of his personality in this office than I was expecting.
You just wanted something very clinical.
When I heard us
much like the operating studio itself, you wanted a clinical like experience.
When I heard I was seeing a specialist, I assumed that he was obsessed with kidney function. And that when I went in there, it'd just be like kidneys everywhere, just like posters of kidneys, kidney models.
That's
just
too much.
Kidney.
You'd be like, this guy's fucking the kidneys. You know what I mean? Like when I'm not in the room, he's like putting a hole in one of these kidneys.
drilling a kidney.
Yeah, exactly.
So I meet this doc, and he's sitting back and
turns his chair around backwards.
Almost the equivalent of that, but he's more. He's just. I think he even had his feet up on the table.
Oh yeah,
nice. Really kind of relaxed.
Yeah, well, he's probably trying to relax you. That's probably an air of relaxation that's meant to make you feel relaxed too.
So he's going through my my results, and he's like, oh yeah, he's like. These weren't his words, but the intro into it was kind of like, you party?
Oh, you like to?
Yeah, he's like, do you? He said, do you take cocaine?
You have
and I was like,
you got some? You know a guy?
I said, not currently. I have in the past, but not currently. And he's like, yeah, you smoke cannabis? I'm like, well, yeah, I
I mean, you don't need to say that like that. That's
I've got a medical certificate, from time to time. And he's like, what else do you do? I'm just like, are we starting the consultation? Like, is this underway? It was just in such a relaxed manner. I mean,
but
clearly,
maybe that's like, he's found that's the most effective way to get that information. Like if you came at all clinical.
You do cocaine? Well, funnily enough, I've got a baggie on me right now. You want to go? You want to bang some rails?
No, because like he needs to know for your kidneys what it is that you do.
He was
and
clearly trying to put me at ease.
If he presents it to you in a way where this is a comfortable environment and you can tell me everything, he probably gets more accurate information than if people feel like they have to lie like it's a government document. If I'm brought into a sterile room and then like some person who's like my grandfather is like, have you ever done cocaine? I'd be like, I've never tried cocaine. Why would I try cocaine? Sounds like a terrible idea.
It threw me. But you're right. It did get an honest answer. It got honest results out of me. So he went through all of it and he's gone. Look, the numbers we're getting from you do not make sense from everything else. Like you, fairly healthy guy.
Well, that's why you probably need to know about like this other stuff too,
right?
Right?
Smashing this other shit.
Yeah.
Well, obviously,
if you're doing
my
like
kidneys
ketamine or whatever the particular drug is that hurts kidneys.
So he wrote me a whole list of other tests I had to do, and one of the tests I had to do. Have you ever done this? It's a 24-hour urine collection.
You have to...
Over a 24-hour period, you have to catch all your urine. So they give you, like when you go get the original orange juice company, they've got those 2.5 liter, the big ones. They give you one of those. And the idea is you don't catch the first time you wee, but every time after that, you catch it all for a 24-hour period.
I mean, I could have done that on the road in the car yesterday. It would have stopped. I
Wouldn't
wouldn't have had to stop as often.
Well, I was like, I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, there is no way I'm going to fill that up. Like, there's absolutely, I can't possibly, it's 2.5 liters.
Over 24 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought it. Turns out I did. You have to keep it chilled for the pathologist. So
Lightly
I had
chilled.
to very...
I mean, it's a white, isn't it? It's
I had to sort of...
If it's a red, there's a different issue.
I had to sort of say, because we don't really have a lot of fruit juice in the house, but I had to clearly label this as Dad's piss.
Yeah, Dad's pissed in this.
Do not drink this.
But that sounds like a cover story for like really delicious stuff in the fridge as well.
Don't you?
You know what I mean?
So keep her off alcohol. It's piss. It's all of it's piss. Dad's been on the piss. You're right. It could be confusing. Because Jem was like, "Oh, do you have to keep it in the fridge?" And I said, "Look, I
agree with Jem.
Well, no, but like it's nothing gross is on the outside of the bottle because you're given this funnel to put it through.
It's just the idea of it.
The idea of it's gross, but I did have to keep it chilled, so I had to work. I moved everything out of the fridge.
You could have got an esky and just like little piss esky.
I could have got a piss esky, but I didn't want to.
Okay,
I was lazy.
All
I dedicated an entire shelf of the fridge. I moved everything off one shelf, so it wasn't touching.
Piss got its own shelf.
The piss got its own shelf.
Okay,
it wasn't touching anything else. But then there's a pathologist in town around the corner from my place. Because a lot of old people live in
By the way, I've never heard of this.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
This is what
it sounds like a prank.
Like it sounds like a prank to me.
And it was full. By the end of the 24 hours, like I was like, oh my God, that is a lot of piss. And the pathologist around the corner from me, because my town's filled with a lot of old people, like, retirees and old farmers and stuff like that. From about, if you get there early from 8 a.m., you're pretty good to get straight in and get your work done. But anything after that, you're just behind old people for the next hour. It's really long. So I was like determined to kind of like get there early with my big jug of piss. So I get it from the fridge, jump in the car because it's only like a 2-minute drive around the corner. And I pull up and I run up because I'm like, I don't want anyone to see my piss.
Yeah. Well, also you've kept it chilled. You don't want it to warm up.
And so I get in.
This is room temperature piss.
One lady sitting in front of me. I'm like, God damn it. And so I put the piss on the ground, like under my seat, a bit like when I'm at the movies.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and then the nurse has taken ages. There must be someone in there. She comes out. So 15 minutes goes by. Then this next woman comes in, and then more and more people start coming in. And I start getting super self-conscious because I've got this big jug of piss just sitting there. And I'm like, so I bailed. I took the piss and I left.
Oh, no.
And I went home and Jem said, what are you doing? And I said, too many people came in.
Done?
And I'm still, because I was sitting there with
put it in a bag. Like you couldn't have put it in a canvas bag.
Well, this is what Jem brought up. She's like, why did you walk in with a big jug of piss?
Big naked piss jug. I just would have thought they put alcohol in a brown paper bag where they let you take it home. Well, you didn't think of getting a little canvas bag and putting your piss jug in it?
In my head.
Or even like one of those ones you get at like one of the major supermarkets that are for cold foods. So it keeps it a little chilled.
Well, no, in my head, I thought I'm going to be in and out. And so it wasn't even a question of me like hanging around. I was just going to go drop off my piss, but then I got thrown, and then the waiting room started filling up, and then I got self-conscious. So that's when I went home and got.
And was it just a drop off?
Yeah.
Well, they should.
No, sorry, I had to get a blood test as well. But
because I was going to say there should just be a designated piss drop off area if it's just a drop off.
I know they're nurses and they've seen much worse than this.
Much worse.
But like the shame I felt when I handed over my big jug of piss to the nurse, like part of me is like, is it enough piss? Is it too much piss? Like, is she judging how much piss is in there? Is the color right? Is the color wrong?
I mean, what was the color?
Golden.
Golden? Really?
No, it was kind of a light yellow because I was quite well high because you're obviously drinking to kind of.
Yes. Do they say that though? What do they say
She took
about?
a swig and she's like, perfect. I was like, are you sure this is a
This is for
pathologist?
Wendy.
She smoke bombed and disappeared.
It's like this is one person who's been running this scam because they love to drink piss.
Oh, thank God you're here. I'm parched.
Now it's chilled, right?
I mean, if it was an elaborate setup just from some piss fetishist, then good luck to him.
Yeah, hats off.
Worked a treat.
Well done. Bravo.
I worked a treat.
I'd be the same. I'd applaud that. But if I found out it was just a giant way for somebody to be able to drink my chilled piss, I'd be like, you know what?
Because it
kudos to you.
It did feel so crazy. Like when they handed me the giant jug and like the funnel that you piss into, I'm like, this is people do this. It's ridiculous. But if you're a piss fetishist, you don't want to spill a drop of that sweet, sweet nectar.
And the other thing is, I mean, I reckon if you're a piss fetishist, I think that you want the fresh piss though. Yeah. You don't want because they said don't put in your first one. I reckon if you're
you want it hot,
you want it like
fresh from the source.
Fresh from the.
But maybe but if you're a real you're a
dick to table,
you can be a fetishist, but you can also be a connoisseur.
Yeah, it's true actually.
So if
you know what, piss is meant to be served chill.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I spent years.
Comes out warm, but you got to.
I've drunk piss in Paris, Berlin, some of the finest piss houses in the world, and they serve it chilled.
Chilled.
Yeah. So it turns out there's
only the British who have it warm.
What are we talking about? Turns out there's nothing wrong with me. So they get that test back, and Dr. Cool Guy.
This is the best bucket of piss that has ever come in here.
He said they got not a false negative, but he said that the test you were getting was not there was not enough markers for them to be able to work it out. And he said,
that makes sense.
The long and the short of it,
sometimes you can get a little
You're a healthy guy, stay healthy, but maybe cut back on protein.
Okay. Less protein.
Less protein.
Because everyone's always about more protein, Charlie. This is what I hear is more protein.
Yeah.
You got to get some protein powder. You got to have some more protein. Where's your protein coming from?
Protein's the building blocks of life.
Exactly. Where's your protein coming from?
But people also...
You can have too much, can you?
Yeah. Brock Lesnar, I think, he had to remove a portion of his intestine because he was getting ready for a UFC fight, and he had he went on a carnivore diet and all meat, and it just fucked his guts up and had to remove some of his intestine. There's a disease when you eat too much protein. We're not primarily meat eaters. We are carnivores.
I'm not.
But you're not. But look at you. You're a wobbly bag of bones.
I am a wobbly bag of bones. There's no doubt about that.
But your kidneys are okay. Well,
yeah,
are they?
They are.
Are they okay?
Yeah, mate, I'm in remarkably good nick, other than physically. No, because I actually have to go in this week and get a new insurance medical because I have to get one every year for work insurance purposes, but I had to do one for another project recently, and even my doctor, because you fill in the forms, you have to fill in what your lifestyle is and whatever, and every time they get the test back, he does kind of look at them like, this doesn't really make sense, but this is all pretty good.
You're doing. They're going to study you. Now, Will, as is tradition when we do these bulk records.
What do you mean? What's going on?
We're going to do a letter episode.
Oh, beautiful.
And I was going to read off my laptop, but I didn't bring my power in and it's gone off. So I'm just going to go off my phone. So that means people watching get to see Charlie Glass's version.
Are you just keeping your laptop open for aesthetics now then?
Reflection.
Or is it actually...
It's done.
There we go.
It's a brick.
Put it away.
It's useless.
Done.
Okay.
Yesterday's technology.
If you want to get in contact with us, you can. There's many ways
can.
you can do it. We're on social media, but you can also go to everyonerelax.co. There's a little contact form. People have been complaining. A lot of people trying to send
What
us.
are people complaining about?
Well, they're trying to send us like you can't attach pictures or video, and people want to say, "Hey, have you guys
They want to
seen
send
this?"
us something, and
Yeah.
they can't.
If you want to do that, then you can go get fucked. I actually don't know.
What about on social media? Because
Social media's the
aren't we
best
putting
way.
everything at Everyone Relax
That's
on
right.
social media, across all our social media? You'll be able to find all the shows on the one social media channel. So surely
think
you
you
could
can
send
attach to
us, you can
social
attach
media.
stuff on social media, or at least link us to something, right?
Yeah, social media is probably the best way. We'll solve that in real time.
Mm-hmm.
This bit of correspondence, though, is from Brenda,
Well, yeah.
who wants to talk about Mendo, Ben Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah, apologies for the lack of facts. I no longer work in the medical profession. I'm just
Okay.
a regular old internet will have to do this time. Have you watched the show The New Look? I have one episode left in the series, and I think it might be Ben Mendelsohn's best work to date. I hope he wins some awards for
The
it.
New Look.
Yeah, I've never even heard of it.
No.
No, Amy?
Yeah,
The
it's
New Look.
I think an Apple TV show about Christian Dior. And so Ben Mendelsohn is Christian
Okay.
Dior. And
Ben Mendelsohn
Christian
Dior.
is Christian Dior.
I
But
think
not
it's
an Aussie Christian
Yeah.
Dior.
Yeah, my name is
I mean, because I just can't imagine him
Christian
being...
Dior.
making
Was Christian
perfume,
Dior... I
have
don't
you?
know anything about...
Yeah.
Shit, Amy
That
does
was
the
good.
best Mendo
That
out
was
of
a good
all of
Mendo.
us. Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfume.
haven't got
Am I
any,
problematic? Have I been cancelled yet? No.
Yeah.
Okay, so she goes on to say,
You
watching...
you like smelling nice, do you?
Watching Ben's performance, I'm transported to post-World War II France, but occasionally,
Oh, yeah.
when he's on screen, I hear Will or Charlie or Amy saying, Mendo,
Mendo.
with as much of that Australian accent as you can bring. Then I'm transported back to Australia in the 80s and 90s. This is the point of her email. How do you reconcile your experience of a Henderson kid going on to international acclaim? I find it a little surreal, and I've never even met the guy. That is a callback. The Henderson Kids. Amy, do you know what the Henderson Kids is?
No.
Okay.
Nah.
It is a seminal drama from the 80s. I think they made 2 series of the Henderson Kids starring
Was Nadine
Gardner
in the Henderson
and
Kids?
I don't know what her brother was. There's brother and sister moved to a small town, and it's kind of like, it's not like a mystery, but there's an overarching kind of mystery, but then it's all the the relationships and interactions between the kids and these new friends they've made. Ben Mendelsohn and Alex Paps, I believe.
That's right, Alex Paps.
Alex Paps was the bad boy leader of the Brown Street Boys, the BMX gang. Do you remember them?
I mean,
The Brown Street, they had their own theme song. They'd ride their BMXs in, and the song would go, they're the Brown Street Boys, and they're okay. They're the Brown Street
Oh,
Boys.
yes, I do remember that.
Totally. So Mendo, I completely
Yes.
forgotten that Mendo came from the Henderson Kids, but Australia has a great tradition of like soap operas and like family-friendly shows. Been the launching pad for
Of course.
all
It's
of our big
mostly
stars.
where you have to start in Australia. So
Well, where else can
anyone
they go?
who's gone on to anything else normally has a Home and Away or a Neighbours or a whatever, Henderson Kids in their back catalogue. I remember, for me, the Ben Mendelsohn that I remember is the Ben Mendelsohn of Greg Fleet stories when I first started out, because I think Fleety and Ben had lived together for a period of time. And so a lot of Fleety stories also involved Ben Mendelsohn, and he would tell the stories. And there you go. And a famous Australian actor who I'm just going to call Men Bendelson. And so for years, I would only think of him as Men Bendelson.
It's kind of funny too, because I don't think it was ever preordained that Ben Mendelsohn was going to be as big as he is.
No.
Like
He had some periods of time too when he was always a very talented actor, but he had some other stuff going
There's
on.
other
as well.
stuff going on, but he
Yeah.
was always given a bit like Fleety. He was always given projects. There was
Yes.
opportunities, but like he did a bunch of films when indie cinema was at its peak in the late 90s. He did like Idiot Box and Mullet, and he had all these opportunities, but he never really took off like I mean, I don't know who were his contemporaries at the time, like a Simon Baker or even who else came out of that era?
Well, he was
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Like
he wasn't that type.
He wasn't a leading man.
No, he's a character actor.
Yeah,
like
but
he's
even
actually
though-
like a
but
kind
even-
of slash leading man slash character actor, but not
Yeah.
leading man in that traditional Hollywood leading man way.
But like Noah Taylor even felt like he got his leg
Yes.
up But Mendo, it felt like had fallen between the cracks. And then Animal Kingdom comes along.
No.
And this is the thing, right? It's like that guy
Just
from
never know. We could beat Ben
Everywhere,
Mendelsohn.
Everyone, All at
Yes.
Once. That Kwan actor, what's his name?
Yeah.
Data from Goonies.
Yeah.
Kihui Kwan.
Yeah. And now he's back in the public
He's
spotlight.
back, baby.
He's back.
Back.
Loves Instagram, that guy. I always see him posting photos of him with celebrities.
All his Goonies mates seem really wrapped for him, I've noticed.
Do they?
Yeah. Like they're all still friends.
Josh Brolin.
Like Truffle, what's his name?
Aston.
Chunk is his manager.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
That lawyer? Is
Yeah.
actually his real
Yeah.
manager? That's
Yeah.
hilarious. Does he do the truffle
Truffle
shuffle? When
shuffle?
they're
Like,
negotiating contracts?
I met him once at Montreal just for laughs.
You met Chunk?
Yeah.
Did you go, Chunk?
No, but I did. I literally talked to him about. I was
Babe
like,
Ruth?
I assume that everybody asked you to do the truffle shuffle, and then that night on the dance floor at Montreal, he did the truffle shuffle.
Oh, my God. That's weird.
That's great though. I love that he's just because you can imagine him being in a new profession. That it's like, I'm going to leave that in the past. But I like the idea that he's like, I'm an agent, lawyer, celebrity. But you know what? This was also part, and I know this will make everyone happy if I just go out and do it. And he was right, Charlie. It made everyone happy.
Can I tell you my most niche celebrity encounter? When I was first went to LA in 2008, I was at a party and I met, this is so niche, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. They take the car into the city.
Yeah.
And they leave the car with 2 car attendants who are
Yeah.
like, oh, we'll take care of
Yeah.
it. And then there's a little subplot of them driving
They
the
go
car
on
around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the guys, one of the car park attendants was this guy I was talking to at the party. And I was like, oh, he probably has people all the time come and say it. And I was like, oh, hey, man, I love Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And he recited every line he had from that movie word for word.
Great.
He was not like, oh, come on, I hate people. He was like more than happy to talk about his time on Ferris Bueller's as one of the
No,
car
I
park
like that
attendants.
too. That's fun. That's a good way to do it. I was with my nieces after they come and see my show during the comedy festival, and we were trying to get into a place and it was packed, but the maitre d' had ducked off for a little while, and I was like joking around. I said, should I look over the thing and try to get into this restaurant under someone? I'll tell them I'm Abe Froman, the sausage king of Chicago. Nothing.
Ah, that sucks. Do you get that?
No.
Nah, Amy's given us Abe
No,
Froman, sausage
no.
king of Chicago.
You don't
Ferris
know that
Bueller's
line?
Day.
Ferris
I'm not
Bueller's
a
Day Off.
massive Ferris Bueller fan,
Well,
unfortunately.
Ferris Bueller, through today's eyes, is like he's a real
Prick.
narcissist psychopath,
Prick of a bloke.
really, isn't he?
Manipulates his friends with
Everyone
coercive control.
constantly, just a real
gaslighter.
it's
Like he's a shocking
it's
bloke.
a lot of real, and we were just
Toxic
absolutely
friendship.
just like
We love him.
He's the hero.
This is from Patrick, longtime listener, first-time caller from Philadelphia.
Oh, nice.
I used to write in after
Born and raised.
I used to write in after listening to I decided to write in after listening to the episode White Dog Poo, where a listener wrote in to say that Will's voice on Philosophy sounded like he was coming from a deep and warm bath, and you briefly joked about how great it would be to do a podcast from the tub. Do you know where this is going? Well, it turns out, once again, you've unknowingly come up with an idea for something that already exists.
Oh, of course.
If there's one thing we're good at, it's popularizing an idea that's already popular.
Well, if there's one thing that they're good at is going, oh, that's a great idea, only to then realize that someone else has already come up with that idea. It's not that we have willed it into existence. It's not that we have made it popular. It's just that
we identify.
Anything that we think of has already been thought of by somebody else.
During the height of COVID, indie folk singer Fen Lily,
oh yeah,
you know Fen Lily?
Yeah.
Hosted the Bath Time show where she invited fellow musicians to join her on Instagram Live.
Okay.
She did 20 episodes, but highlights include Phoebe Bridgers, Lucy Dacus of Boy Genius, and Illuminati Hotties. I'm staring at you, Amy, because I assume you know who all those people are.
Do you not know which?
I don't know
Can you say
any
them
of
again?
them.
You don't
I
even
know
know-
Lucy Dacus.
Yeah, and
Fen Lily?
Phoebe Bridges.
Yeah,
you
they're
said,
both
right?
in
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
the
Yeah,
band Boy
they're
Genius.
Boy Genius. Yeah, Boy
Okay.
Genius
And
is like
Luke
a super
Dacus.
group of
Dacus.
like indie
Can't be that
female.
super. I don't know who they are.
Mate, they're quite big.
Okay.
They're genuinely quite
I
big.
think they
And
were
Illumin-
openers for Taylor Swift in America on tour.
They had a bunch
heard
of
of
songs
her.
in the Hottest 100, I think.
Yes.
They got that great sort of indie/pop crossover.
Sad girl pop
vibe
kind of
going on.
vibe.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what about the
Phoebe
Illuminati?
Bridges might be dating Bo Burnham.
That's correct.
right?
Possibly,
Yeah,
allegedly,
okay. Yeah.
seemingly.
Who's the girl
Allegedly,
from
yeah.
Fleabag? Isn't she
That's
Phoebe,
Phoebe
Bridges?
Waller-Bridge.
Yeah.
Which-
Ah, well, that's too confusing for an old man like me to remember. Like, there's no way I will ever remember that they're two different people.
Yeah, I think there has already been some confusion that they are not too. Like, I mean, look, they're quite similar names. That is true.
Yeah. What about Illuminati hotties? What do you think of them?
I don't know anything about them. I'll have to look them up.
Okay.
No.
The conversations took place while both were in the tub having a bath. That sounds
Yep.
hot. The show was really
All right,
popular
now you've made
with
it
some
creepy.
episodes getting over 20,000 views. Wow, you can see them all here. I also want to mention your conversation in the episode Crying, where you discussed how Will is sober since he only consumes prescribed substances. Charlie commented on the double standard that exists around different substances, and this got me thinking about a time when I knew someone who took this too far.
Oh yeah.
Years ago, I was in the punk rock scene in my hometown, and at the time considered myself straight edge. I didn't drink or consume any recreational drugs. However, I knew others in the scene who were far more strict. One person I knew wouldn't drink coffee and even considered over-the-counter pain medication a drug
Yeah.
that
fair
he would
enough.
resist.
Yeah.
This person went so far as to refuse any type of pain medicine or anesthesia when they had to remove his wisdom teeth. Oh. I remember seeing his posts on Facebook about how proud he was to be poison-free in the weeks that followed. I can't even begin to imagine how much pain he was in. I'm no longer straight edge, and I feel good about using substances in moderation, as you should. Ultimately, watching this unfold was a great lesson that anything in the extreme can be harmful. Anyway, keep up the good work. While I am not a medical professional, the podcast has been a source of some joy in tough times. So in the ways you have kept me both living and laughing.
Oh, yeah, I'll take
We'll
that.
give
I'm
give
very
ourselves a
happy.
round of applause.
I'm happy with that.
Okay.
Just us all. I think we could all have a round of applause about that.
Yeah.
But also, I love that. I mean, I think of all the drugs because one of the things that so I used to when I was like smoking pot, I would like mix it with a bit of tobacco, Australian style, and I decided spin exactly. Oh, were you demanding that I spin? Now spin. Now stand up.
No, spin the
Now,
story.
Yeah. But I wanted to stop that because, like, I'm like, well, it's still tobacco. It doesn't matter if you're like mixing it with something else. It's still tobacco, and I didn't smoke cigarettes separately, so it seemed an absolutely ridiculous thing to do. And I was worried about how hard that would be to kick. But once I actually made the decision to do it, it wasn't that hard at all. But over the years, the amount of times that I've been like, I'm going to have a break from drinking coffee. I'm going to have a break from caffeine, and that's the one that I find it almost impossible
Really?
to go substantial. And that's the one that I get real withdrawal.
Right.
Like when I take a break from alcohol, when I take a break from like even weed, I don't get withdrawal symptoms at all.
Yeah.
But caffeine.
What's
like,
caffeine withdrawal?
Headaches.
Right. It's like sugar withdrawal.
Yeah, but I don't get sugar. I mean, I'd have to withdraw from sugar to know whether I get sugar withdrawal or not. I don't know whether I've ever actually tried to withdraw from sugar.
Yeah.
But yeah, caffeine.
If I was
I
your
have-
doctor, I'd be sitting there going, so you do sugar?
yeah, I was like, yeah.
Sugar, you do caffeine?
I'm literally eating chocolate as he's talking to me. But yeah, caffeine is like, it's an incredibly powerful drug.
This is from Scott. After listening to your latest chat about the Australia Day date change, please hear my pitch. We're never going to have a unanimous single day, so my pitch is to have 3 consecutive days
Right.
using commonly used Indigenous phrase as a theme, past, present and emerging. So
Okay.
January 26th is the past. We mourn Invasion Day, where we mourn the past, a time to learn from the old traditions, acknowledge the land and the people and the trauma, recognise the real history of the land, learn from our historical mistakes, possibly include all of our history before and after colonisation, everything from First Nations to Anzac Day. What do you think of that? That's a past.
I like it.
Present, present is January 27th. Present, celebrate where we are, celebrate what we've become together as a nation and who has come to join us, immigration, etc. Then January 28th is the emerging,
Yeah.
Young Australia Day, where we're going. Celebrate progression and diversity. Youth is the future. Come up with the new ideas of where we can go. Aspire to do more, be better than the last generations. Lead the world in a better way forward. Time to pass the baton on.
Sounds pretty woke.
I was going to say 3AW just exploded. I'm pretty sure 2GB melting down. I have no idea whether I'm stepping on any toes culturally, so I'd like any feedback to refine the idea from people smarter than me. I know the first objection will be 2 extra public holidays, but I'm sure that can be worked. I think that's at least your problem.
No,
the extra holidays.
This is what I loved about this, because that third day is going to be your problem day.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole bunch of people who would specifically have problems with some of the ideas espoused there. Not me. It sounds great. But if you put it up against that idea of, well, you can always not take that public holiday if you really object to these things. Maybe you get a few more people to sign up to progressive values based on the extra day off. I don't think the day off is the issue. I do know that, and again, I'm no expert in this either, so I might be wrong in what I'm saying, but I have heard some First Nations people say that the emerging part of is sometimes some people, like I know that, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but I think Briggs or someone that I've listened to talk about the idea of emerging is a weird part of that maybe isn't. But I like the idea of like saying, here's who we were and here's who we are now and who we want to be. I think that's like I think that's what we're meant to be doing on Australia Day in the first place. But of course, because we don't reconcile what happened in the past and because it's on a day that is so tied up with all the hurt that was caused, that's why it. But I think extra public holidays is the way forward.
Yes, definitely.
I think that's the hook.
Yeah.
I think that's what gets us all across the line for whatever we decide, is we've got to add an extra public holiday.
I think that's mandatory. Yeah. And call us back. So what do you think about Change Australia Day?
Anyway, what do you reckon?
Okay, this is from Julian. Thanks for reading my message on the latest bonus episode. Months later, as predicted. Sorry, Julian, I can't remember what that was. For what it's worth, I've gotten over my initial dislike of the new feed. Oh, he was always complaining about us putting all the shows in the one feed.
All right.
And I've even started listening to 2 Guys, 1 Cup.
Oh, got him.
Which I hadn't previously because I didn't have the time or in my week for another Will and Charlie podcast. I still don't, and I'm very behind on my listening, but that's 100% on me.
Sorry, Julian.
I guess it is easier having everything in the one place after all. Okay. Also, I was at Will's Canberra show and it was great, if a little disjointed.
It was a little disjointed. No, it was. I mean, I was still working out what the ending of the show was at that point. So Canberra in particular I'd just come off I'm pretty sure I can talk about this now because by the time people are listening to this, even though when we're recording it, I can't talk about it. And Amy, there just might be a point where if something changes, like that I have to message you and say, well, I have to take this bit out. But I'm pretty sure timing wise, I'll be able to so I did Taskmaster, which in New Zealand, and then we filmed so before I did Canberra, I had to cancel a week of shows because we were doing the studio records for Taskmaster, and I kept my Canberra show. I had just shot 10 episodes of a television show in 5 days. Wow. We were shooting all day, and it was Taskmaster, where every day you're going to a studio not knowing what you're about to see and have to do and all these sort of things. And then drove down to Canberra and did my gig on the Saturday night after a week of that. And I was bananas. Like my brain. Bananas? It was funny. Like it was a really funny show. I had like a really good time. Like it was a good vibe, but it was loopy. And there was a few times even during the show where I was like, I'm sorry, this is so loopy. This is just loopy tonight. Like it was fun. It was like a fun show, but it was like, even by my own standards, it was bananas.
This is from Scott. Hey, you guys spoke about Athlete's Foot recently and asked if there were any business names that had negative connotations attached.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I have one at my local fish and chip shop. It's called a Salt and Battery.
Oh, yep. No, that's not good.
While I do get the pun and I'm aware it makes sense, I'm not a fan of the violence tone in the name.
No.
Never visited. I don't think I will anytime soon.
No thanks.
They have, like Athlete's Foot is bad, but it doesn't have like a victim attached to it.
No. That's like that's like a clarified butter shop calling itself Ghee 2. Like... It's just a bit too close to the bone, I would have
thought. Steve has written in, hey, Will and Charlie, this line rhymes and ends with barley.
Hey, Will and Charlie, this line rhymes and ends with barley.
Okay. I'm a fan of the podcast and also music.
Okay.
Back in my college days.
Also, I like the politics of Ed Husick. Are we doing it all right?
Yeah. Back in my college days, I spent a decent amount of time and internet bandwidth pirating music, mostly because I was poor and radio was becoming shit, but also because I was poor and radio was shit. And now I have the means to support artists more regularly. I try and do so as directly as possible to cut out the middle persons. Although I did hear Spotify have just laid off like a bunch of employees while also like reducing the amount that their artists get paid per download.
Cool.
That's
Cool. It's like all these new things are unsustainable business models.
So I buy CDs as well, which apparently is becoming a cool retro thing to do. Anyway, piracy helped
physical media. Yeah,
absolutely.
Back, baby.
Piracy helped me find music that I would not have found otherwise, like Carnival from Perth.
Oh, yeah.
After watching some music videos, I feel like
did a great remix of the ABC News theme.
Oh, was that them?
I think that was them, Carnival. No, no, maybe I'm thinking of actually that was
Pendulum?
Pendulum. You're right.
Maybe
it wasn't Carnival. It was Pendulum.
I'm watching the videos. I feel like they might be the Nickelback of Australia, but I have no real context to put them in, so I enjoy them without feeling guilty. My question for you is: what artists from Australia didn't make it in the US market but should have? Any new artists that we should be checking out? Should we be streaming Triple J and watching Rage and ABC iView? Yes, I'd say yes to all those things. Well, we've talked about a few in the past. Like, I mean, Paul Kelly is like the Bob Dylan of Australia.
Paul Kelly's amazing. Powderfinger were the biggest band in Australia.
Cold Chisel were never really broke where they could have.
Voodoo Gurus did a little on college radio, but never in the massive way that they should have.
The Living End tried a couple
I think the Living
times.
End did okay. Like I think they played because they were such a great festival band that I think they did pretty okay on the international festival circuit, as did like John Butler and people like that.
Briggs. I mean, if you like hip hop. I mean, I think that would translate because it's got an LA sound.
But I think it does.
Sound.
But I think a lot of the stories are about Australia. That's the thing about hip hop is that sometimes it doesn't travel just because of the references or the.
But then you look at grime, like, and that sort of travels, or drill, like that. That seems to be international.
The guy from Twitter.
Yeah. Seems to be popular internationally.
Yeah, it's true.
Even though it's like local references and stuff. Yeah. I mean, the Hilltop Hoods would have been great if they. I mean, because they are kind of like the Powderfinger of hip hop. Like if they could have like broken big. But, you know.
I mean, I saw the Hilltop Hoods in LA do a show to like 1,000 people. They were, a decent sized band over there.
Big party afterwards, I seem to recall.
It was a big party afterwards. We had a good time.
Steve finishes thanking you and Mike Howell and Mike the Third and Podcaster Mike and A Mike for all the effort you guys have put into making this free podcast. I'm almost caught up with my second run through. Wow, he's listened to every show twice. Go to our Patreon if you really want to support us. But listening through twice is also good.
Art of Fighting was a great Australian band that
they were great.
Always super rated.
Gemma worked. We did a couple music videos for Art of Fighting when we were starting out.
Never even in Australia got as big as they should have. I've been listening to the new Smile album, which is Johnny and Tom from Radiohead's sort of side project, and it's really beautiful. And I've just really loved the album, and I was like, what does this remind me of? And it's not quite the same, but it's definitely in the same world. The atmospherics of it are very similar to Art of Fighting, and I was like, it's just like they were like a band that should have been such a much bigger international band.
Hits,
no,
it's beautiful.
But there is.
Music.
I saw them play like a reunion show only 4 or 5 years ago or whatever, and they've got heaps of hits, but never that thing that got that
commercial.
There was never that Gautier moment.
Yeah.
Like, that's the other thing.
That's a thing.
Often on I see this online all the time, which is like people will like. There'll be a meme of something which is very much like, what happened to this guy? I remember when this guy had this one song and then like we've never heard from him ever again. He had heaps of songs. There's so many great songs. A lot of them are, before somebody that I used to know, obviously. But yeah, all the Gautier back catalogue is really good as well.
This is from Jem, Dr. Jem. So so Dr. Jem was the doctor who had the teabagger come in with the TOFOP tattoo.
Yes. Okay, yep.
Is weighing in not only on Nathan the tattooed teabagger, but also medical bracelets. So I thought, because we asked doctors, what do you think about medical bracelets? Dr. Jem here. After hearing you guys read out my letter and the reply from Nathan, the mysterious tattooed teabag, I want to write back with a few points.
Great.
First of all, Nathan, thank you for writing in. I'm glad our TOFOP medical crossover was as memorable for you as it was for me. And after Will was questioning my doctor-patient confidentiality that apparently expires after a year, it's good to know that you're happy for the story to be shared. I'm also glad you chose to go with the subtle leg tat rather than the snake grill's face tat. Although if I was treating someone with the TOFOP imprinted above their eyebrow, they would definitely be getting the good medicine. Nathan mentioned in his letter that I was only one of 2 teabagger doctors that saw him that day. I used to think that the number of medical professionals that wrote into you guys was just a coincidence. But after finding out that, unbeknownst to me, I've been working side by side with a fellow teabagger for the past 12 months, I'm really starting to feel part of this secret stonemason-esque society that vows to keep people living under the strict proviso that you keep us laughing.
I know that we joke about it, but it's a disproportionate amount of medical professionals.
At this
that listen
stage,
to
it's
the show.
almost like a necessary public service we're providing.
Yeah, I agree.
We should get government funding.
I think so.
Maybe we shouldn't be going for like Muji
Commercial,
and Arnott's
yeah.
sponsorship.
No, we need to get
government.
That's where the sweet dollars are anyway.
That's where that's true. Like if you get a government
Get some
contract, that
get
shit
a
fucking
sweet
turns over
government
every
contract.
year. We could be just fucking bureaucratic fat cats just sitting on that paycheck forever.
Propagandists.
We never have to produce anything.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about government money. They just give it to you.
Yeah, it's true.
RE medical bracelets. I love the idea. I can't guarantee in a medical emergency I can't guarantee in a medical emergency it may delay life-saving treatment whilst non-teabagging paramedics
Work
or
it
emergency
out.
doctors try and Google what a TOFOP is and make sure the patient isn't having an anaphylactic
What if it said everyone
reaction.
relax?
That's it. Well, what if the paramedic we don't have to stop this heart attack.
Well, just relax. Not like stop.
Don't treat me.
Just be,
Well, in brackets, everyone relax in brackets, but still save my life.
Still save my life. Just be chill.
However, if they make it far enough to me, I'd happily give them the silver service. Lastly, in the emergency department the other night, I saw 2 patients in the space of 3 hours that gave me real Charlie finding himself in a bad situation, then making it worse with further questionable decisions energy.
Yes.
Relates back to our last episode with the Tim Tams.
I think that this is possibly part of what's connecting with the doctors.
They're
right?
like, what is this case study?
Yes.
This fucking guy.
They get you, it's like a real insight into the minds of people that they have to deal with every
psychotic.
day so that they
Into the mouth of
understand they
madness.
can be more
Sympathetic.
empathetic. Maybe they're judgmental when like someone comes in and spins
And
one
says,
of these
"Oh, I got my-
tails.
your hand caught
They're like,
in-"
oh, this idiot. Whereas like, they
They're like, oh, these idiots exist. I know.
I know one of these.
I know one of these
and
idiots.
he's like actually a reasonable person who does deserve my medical attention.
The first lady had eaten half a pasty from a truck stop on an overnight interstate car trip.
This is you. This is absolutely you.
So I just said on our lunch break
I'll eat anything.
in the elevator, I'll fucking
just
eat anything.
whatever.
And she
I
started
don't care where it's been, what temperature it is, how long it's been down the back of the couch. I'll eat it.
Gemma and I were in Berlin one year. We're eating a pizza, and Gemma took one bite and said, "Oh, that's off. There's something bad about that."
Yeah.
And I was so indignant. And I was like, it's fine. It's a pizza. They've cooked it in an oven. It would have killed any of the germs. And I ate the whole thing and then had the worst food poisoning of my life. Like the kind of food poisoning, like 8 or 9 hours of consistent vomiting every 10 to 20 minutes thinking I was going to die. And I still will eat anything. I have learned not one lesson. So this lady ate a pasty from a truck stop overnight, started feeling nauseous and vomited a couple of times.
Yep.
After an hour or two, she was getting over the hill and feeling a bit better. So she decided to eat the other half.
Oh, what are you doing?
Now 3 to 4
That
hour.
does sound like you, though.
Decided to eat the other half of a now 3 to 4 hour old vomit-inducing pasty.
Yeah, that's fine, though. Like having it sit around will actually...
the germs kill each other.
Germs, that's right.
That's science.
Yeah.
Which unsurprisingly landed her in the emergency department. I was already chuckling to myself at her decision to go back for more of that thing, which quite obviously made her sick in the first place, when I saw the second patient. So this guy had eaten a Woolies salad for lunch that had given him gastros for 2 days straight before it started to clear up. After getting back to his usual self, he then proceeded to go back and eat the rest of the leftover salad, which prompted the return of his gastro with a serious
This
vengeance.
is cost of living crisis, though.
Yeah.
This is these poor people who are like, I can't waste this
Well, I
half
can't leave
of
food on the,
Woolies.
don't leave food on the table.
Right? Even if it kills me.
I am admittedly a bit of a garbage guts myself and will often make some questionable choices when it comes to rolling the dice by eating old food in the fridge and having definitely paid the price a couple of times. Have either of you guys got any memorable stories of doing the same thing, or is it just my sickly patience?
Well,
Charlie's heard my story.
Charlie's got nothing but these memorable stories. Here's what I will tell you. I won't risk it. Once I've been sick because of like
You hate
my
vomiting.
phobia around vomiting. Once I've been sick on a food, I am never eating that food ever again for the rest of my life.
Is that a conscious decision though, or is that like you actually feel sick when you think about that
Both.
food? Okay.
I mean, I can't separate one from the other.
You used to drink though. Did you ever throw up after drinking?
I mean, rarely, but like,
Okay.
but there's certain alcohols that I can't, like, for the same reason.
You never
I
spewed
can't
on beer
smell,
then?
no, but
Okay.
I can't smell black sambuca without wanting to vomit.
Frangelico.
Like,
Amy, what's your one that makes you want to vomit?
Just like any sort of like if there's a flavored vodka, it just makes me think of
Oh,
people
yeah.
buying
Oh,
like
that's
at like
teenage. Just
18,
the-
like 17,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
buying
I mean,
that stuff.
it's teen stuff.
Yeah.
Maduri, like, for me it was that, black sambuca. That's the one that
Yeah. I've never
I
had
remember.
Frangelico since that 21st
Southern Comfort.
when I spewed and then made out with a girl in front of everyone I didn't realize after I'd spewed.
I had a curried scallop pie when I was 16 years old in Lakes Entrance, maybe more than one. And then we went up a
What is
twisty,
a curry pie.
a curried scallop pie.
That sounds fucking gross.
Feels even grosser coming back up again.
Oh my God. Curried fish in a
Can't
pie.
even
Oh, that's
even,
so gross. How long have we done? Have we got
51 minutes.
Okay,
It's
we've
okay.
got a couple
Couple
more
more.
letters to go, but we're only
That's
halfway through the mailbag, so we'll have
That's
to get to. We've got people have written recently. You'll have to wait a bit longer.
Well,
to
they
hear
know
from us.
that.
Okay,
It's okay.
this is from Andy.
Hey, Andy.
A friend of mine just landed a deal with Netflix to get their animated kids TV show distributed, and I think it might be just your sort of thing.
Oh,
It's
okay.
called Bad Dinosaurs, and I'm using the pitch. It's Pixar with farts.
Okay. I don't really like farts.
I imagine Iona is at a stage where she finds bodily functions hilarious.
Does she?
Um,
I don't know if that's the sort of humour that would fly in your household.
not with Gemma.
No, I think Gemma
But
would
no,
be discouraging her.
I think Iona and I definitely we
You
we
have a
have
little-
shared.
Uh,
Yeah, so we play this game. It's sort of there's a Bluey episode called Mount Mum and Dad where the parents fall are so tired after a day out with the kids they lie on the couch and the kids climb them like they're mountains, and it's the whole storyline about them getting to the top of the mountain.
uh-huh.
So Iona likes to play Mount Dad, where I lie on the bed and she climbs up me and plants a flag when she gets to the top. But occasionally there's eruptions from
A volcano.
from a
Or
volcano.
something.
And sometimes Dad will time the eruption just right. And she often gets a laugh out of that. So Iona is at the stage she likes bodily functions. So you get a laugh out of every episode. I've listened to TOFOP since discovering you through Walking the Room, so I'm certain we'll meet your refined comedy
Okay.
taste. Please feel free to denounce me as a liar and a poor judge of character if I am wrong. I just had it running in the background to get some hot Netflix
Bad
stats from my friend.
Dinosaurs.
Bad Dinosaurs. We will never check that out, I promise you. I will try my best to. This is from Benj. Scams. Let's talk about scams. Scams use bad spelling deliberately to filter out smart or educated people. The 3 P's in the word
Interesting.
apple would be easily picked up by an educated person, perhaps not by the less educated. It's a preferred target marketing for those preying on the vulnerable.
Find the dummies. Get rid of all the people who are going to see through your plan.
Is this real or is this Ben just
I don't-
speculating?
I don't know, but I like it.
I mean,
I like
so
this.
you're looking for a mark. You want someone who thinks
You
a
want
bit
someone
easy
who's
to
like,
manipulate.
yeah, if I can get
so
them
make
in
it
on this.
clearly
Yeah.
misspelt. But
I do know that they often target religious people because if you're willing to fall for one scam, you're willing
Is
to
that
fall for
true?
another. Yeah. And so religious people are more susceptible because you've already shown that you're willing
Yeah,
to
right.
fall for, nonsense.
right.
So, yeah. So that, I mean, but I kind of do understand that idea of going, I need to, as quickly as possible, work out who's an actual, because that's the thing, right? It's like in any business, who's the window shopper and who's the active buyer.
Yeah.
And also, I actually want the smart person not to get too involved in this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because the smart person, if they do get too involved, probably has more leverage and whatever to like bring down this company, and then we're going to have to change our name again, and then we're going to have to blah, 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 or whatever it is that they do. They have more power. They could get a lawyer or whatever, whereas if they get someone who isn't as educated, then yeah, so that, I mean, even if that's not true,
Yeah.
that does make some sense.
I answered a scam phone call the other day.
Because you're a dummy.
Well, I normally
from Apple 4-piece, and you were like, well, this must be the best Apple.
It was a phone call, but it was said it was coming from Brisbane, and at the
Okay.
time we were picking up our puppy from Brisbane, and I
Right.
thought it might have been the owner because I
that
didn't
makes
recognize the
sense.
number.
Yep.
But then it was a guy like, "Hey, you
You want a dog?
No,
Hey,
no.
you want a dog?
No, what did
I
he
hear
say?
you want a dog.
It was a funny sales pitch. He was so stunned that someone had picked up. I heard him
Yeah.
like scramble
Yeah.
to pick the phone up.
Yes. What? Hang on, what?
I got one.
All right.
And then he was like, you wanted to know how to supercharge your crypto shares or something like that. And I was
Yeah.
like, no. And it's going, is this Darren? I'm like, no, it's not
No,
fucking
it's
Darren.
not
It's like,
Darren.
come on, mate.
There's no one called Darren who wants to supercharge their crypto shares.
Will, this is from Will.
Oh.
Oh, it's a TOFOP dream. I love this.
All right.
I love dreams. I'm very
Okay.
with dreams. This is from Will with one L. Hi, Charlie and Will with one L. I just woke up and wanted to recount this dream while I still remember it.
Okay.
I guess I've been seeing too much of you guys on Instagram. Anyway, my wife and I have just finished a training session for cave diving in an unspecified Central American country. Neither of us dive, nor have any plans to go to Central America.
What?
So when we walk out to the street,
Oh, this is the dream.
this is the dream. It's all a dream from. So they're cave diving in Central America.
Sorry.
This is the dream.
Yeah.
We walk out to the street and we bump into Will and his entourage, one of whom is Hamo.
Yep.
I say, "G'day, Will," and you reply, "G'day, Will," and invite us to dinner. You're in a wheelchair the whole time.
A wheelchair.
A wheelchair.
Yeah.
But you say it's okay. You have a little dance routine.
Like what?
You have a little dance routine in your new show,
Yeah.
and you're just resting your hips.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, that makes sense.
We go in and are all served corn dogs. I've never had a corn dog in my life. I'm not even sure I know what they are.
I don't know what it is.
They're just battered. It's like we call them battered.
battered sav.
Not a battered sav. It's when you go to a carnival. It's a sausage on a stick and covered in batter.
Isn't that what a battered sav is?
Is that what a battered? I thought a souvlaki was a battered sav.
A souvlaki
Isn't it
is
battered souv?
sav.
Not to be a battered souv.
No, I thought a battered sav
What does
was
the
what
sav
you're
stand
talking
for?
about right now. Savoy.
Dagwood dog.
Yeah, a Dagwood dog.
Okay, maybe
A
they
battered
are.
sav.
Yeah, that's what a corn dog is.
Uh-huh.
They're gross. I had one.
Horrible.
Yeah. Then Charlie comes in and says, "What the hell are you eating?" and misunderstands, thinking we're eating actual dogs until Will explains.
Oh, yeah.
After that, Charlie's incredibly charming to my wife, while Will lights up an enormous blunt and from the other end of the table and says, "Better take my medicine," with a big smile. And that's when I woke up.
I mean, I'm lucky I'm in that chair that someone else can wheel me around.
Let's interpret it. What's
Okay.
going on for
All
Will?
right.
So, I mean, I think we are the tableau in which he's playing out some of his own insecurities. So,
Really?
well, let's say two comedians,
Okay.
just for the just to make it easier.
Yeah, me and Hamo.
Two comedy figures. And so I think that there is an event, and the dinner is interesting. The fact that you run into him and there's a dinner. So I think there is something.
Well, hang on. Let's not overlook the fact that I feel like
The wheelchair.
I'm in a
detail.
wheelchair in the dance. The wheelchair and the dance feel like
So
something
he
to
knows
me.
you well
Yeah.
from listening to the podcast.
What's
and he
the
knows-
cave diving? I think let's start with the cave diving. Why cave diving? Why are they? Because that feels like that's got to be
Some
something
kind of
in of
internal,
itself, right?
subconscious. Well,
Like wanting to
journey into the self, journey internally. Like
Into
maybe
a-
that's what it's symbolizing.
Yeah.
Some kind of subconscious. The fact that it's a place he's never been doing, an activity he's never done before, to me suggests there is something in him that he's ignoring. And then the fact that he runs into three familiar
yeah.
faces, comedy related, is like, I think there is something in your subconscious, in your past, that you are not dealing with. And what your dream is trying to tell you is, hey, it's fine. You can approach this issue or this thing that you haven't dealt with humor. Like Will, you're going to just sort of take it easy. You're going to be in the wheelchair.
What's
because
the
you're
dance? What's the dance?
Well, the dance is like the joy when you finally address or overcome this lingering problem.
okay.
You'll be able to dance in the show. And
What's the corn dog?
Freudian, some penis thing. It's a penis. It's
Oh, right.
related to your penis.
What about what's
You're
the
losing your erections.
What's
you
the-
can't dive deep into your wife's cave.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Don't worry about it, is what we're saying. Like, it's fine. You can laugh about the fact that you're having impotent.
Oh yeah, you just got to sit in a
erectile
wheelchair for a
dysfunction.
while, but later on you're going to get to dance.
You're going to get to stand up.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. That's
So
good.
look, erectile dysfunction's very common.
Yeah,
There's
that's
lots of
fine.
medication you can
Yeah.
take.
What
deal with
about you thinking that corn dogs are made of actual dogs? What do you think?
I mean,
what do you think that is?
I mean, it's like occasionally I get things wrong.
Yeah, I guess. Just general,
general Charlie.
world building.
Yeah. All right, one last letter,
All right.
then we're going to get out of here.
Okay.
If you want to write to us, everyonerelax.co, contact form there. Best way to support this show is still patreon.com
Yes,
/
absolutely.
everyonerelax. This last bit of correspondence is from Paul. Hi, guys. If my memory serves me correctly, which is semi-likely, Charlie's a big fan of Michael Keaton. That is correct.
Mhm, correct.
So my question...
Big fan.
Big fan.
Favorite actor?
Yeah, definitely. Favorite actor. He's directed a new film, actually, about a hitman who is diagnosed with Alzheimer's he's losing his memory. And then his son comes to him and says, I need help. I killed someone. I need you to help me bury the body. But then it's like, did this actually happen or is he losing his mind? Looks good. Very interesting. So my comment is, did you know that his name is actually, and I do know this
Michael
fact,
Douglas.
you do, even Will
Even
knew
Michael
that.
Douglas knows. And do I know that Michael Douglas got throat cancer from cave diving?
True.
Yeah.
I just learned this today and I thought it was kind of interesting. You're both in showbiz.
It's because his favourite actress is Diane Keaton.
That's right. He was looking through the paper. No, I don't think it's his favourite. I think he's just looking through and he saw
yeah.
an ad for Diane Keaton.
Diane Keaton.
And he jokes about how him and his Uncle Buster and Diane get together for family Christmases.
Buster Rhymes.
Yeah. You're both in showbiz, so I thought it was common knowledge. But as an American who has seen him on TV since Mr. Mom, it was funny to find out that he shares a name with the Michael Douglas and is apparently only 7 years younger than the original. Yeah, that would make sense.
Did you know that Emma Stone's name was Emily Stone?
I found that out today, this very morning on the
Yes.
way here.
I mean, when we're recording this. Yes.
Well, no.
I mean, it'll be 3.
I read it before I got here.
Yes, but we're 3 weeks in the future now,
sorry.
is what I'm saying, because we've been recording all day. But that was in the news, around this time. That's the only reason I. But
Was there already an Emma Stone? Is that why she changed it?
yes, there
okay.
was, but she killed that bitch. Once you win enough awards, you get to
do
choose
that.
whatever the
Killed
fuck
it
your
with
name
her
is.
Oscar.
Beat it. You can. That's what they don't tell you.
bludgeon
But
someone
you're
to
allowed
death.
to kill one person with your Oscar.
Yeah.
If you win one, you can kill
That's
one
why they
person with it.
put the music on stage.
That's why people
They've got to
want
get
them
you off
so bad.
stage so you can kill that person.
That's why
they've got
Bradley
on
Cooper's
stage.
so desperate. He has the one person that he wants to murder.
real bad.
Yeah,
All right, that is TOFOP for this week. Will, you've got Will Legitimate.
I do. Will Legitimate touring all over Australia. Check out the dates at comedy.com.au.
I'm Charlie Clausen.
I'm Will Anderson.